What's going on YouTube? Welcome to episode 170 of the U.S.S. Enterprise D tutorial. I'm Zero Elite and I just want to thank you very much for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button helping me support the channel. I can't thank you enough for that. Also, be sure to check out the Discord. I'll have a link in the description below. Today we've got about a 25-minute episode and we're going to be picking up right where we left off in episode 169. We're working on our captain's yacht. So let's go ahead, kick back, relax, and let's jump right into it. So we're just going to be continuing on to flesh out the rest of the ship. We're going to be closing in the floors, and then we'll be fleshing out our sides. Because our main walkway will be in the middle, and then we'll have our rooms on the sides, with an exception of the shuttle bay, or not the shuttle bay, the transporter room and the bridge. They'll be on opposite ends of each other, and then we'll have our walkway in the middle, and then on the sides is where we'll have all the rooms for the quarters and as well as the lounge. And see, like, this is a great exercise to take because, you know, again, we don't have any reference material to go off of. And you know, somebody will probably mention it, and this, you know, I didn't use this as a reference, but it's not a bad idea to where you could, in theory, use the captain's yacht from the Enterprise E, the interior of it anyway, as a loose reference material on what you could do. If, for whatever reason, you're not thrilled with what I came up with here, that's another option that you could take. But what I'm going to end up doing in today's episode is that really, you know, we're just kind of using the previous rooms that we've established and the design cues in the other sections of the ship to kind of dictate what we're going to be doing with this section. So, you know, we've got our transporter room, we've got our bridge, we've got our lounge / mess hall, and then we've got our crew quarters. And now what we're making here is kind of like a staging prep area to where you'd be getting ready to go on an away mission from the captain's yacht, or, you know, you're beaming down to a planet, you know, for recreation, whatever. So one side will kind of have like bins for storage of equipment, and then the opposite side will have as the console that would operate the transporter pad. Before we do that, we're going to fill in our ceiling here with half slabs, this way everything's nice and clean. We don't have all those extra colors that are popping up that we don't want to see. And that looks pretty good. And we're just going to make that flat. Trying to get a lot of these episodes done today so that this way I'll have everything up and ready to go for this week when these episodes are dropping, Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday. But this coming weekend, the day after this episode drops, I'll be on Minecraft working on Voyager, which I'm actually really looking forward to. It's been a long time coming, but this is one of the, well, this is the first build that we'll be doing that was off of a community poll. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. It's the first poll I've done on my channel, and it was very successful. I had quite a few people getting involved with that, which I thought was awesome. And we'll do more of that too. But I'm not going to do it for every build, you know. After Voyager, I've got a couple of builds that I want to do. I don't know if I'll do all of them immediately following Voyager. I might do a personal build that I'm really excited to do after Voyager, and then do a poll and then go back and forth. I'm not sure. We'll have to play it by ear. But then we've also got the Enterprise A retrofit which will be coming up once we hit 1,000 subscribers. Um, so we're climbing up on that. We've got 300 to go on subscribers to do that tutorial, and we're as close as we've ever been before. So I'm really getting excited about that. That build is 110% coming. So those of you that have been excited about that build, that'll be coming up in the near future. Then immediately following the Enterprise D, we've got Voyager. But with that being said, I take build suggestions all the time, so be sure to go under Discord and go under build suggestions, so that this way you can post what build you'd like to see. People can upvote it on that channel in Discord, and it will give me a good gauge to see on what people. It will give me a good gauge so I can see what people want to see me do. And what I'll be doing is, when I'm ready to do my next build poll, I'll be taking the top rated requests from that tab, and I'll create another poll so that people can vote on the top rated builds to ultimately decide what that next build will be. So we'll kind of have to see and play it by ear. But no, definitely a lot of cool stuff coming on the channel in the future. But we still have a little bit of work to do on the Enterprise D. I was saying this in the last couple of episodes, that we're not going to make it to 192 episodes for the Enterprise D. Because like I said, I've been editing out a couple of sections of the ship here and there where I thought that it needed it. Well, I don't want to say sections of the ship. That's misleading. I'd rephrase that too. I'm deleting out irrelevant portions that I recorded that really didn't add anything to the build. So because I did that, I'm not quite sure where we're going to end up on. It's going to be somewhere between, I don't know, maybe like 180 or something like that, but we'll see. It might be a little bit more than that. It might be a little bit less. But I'm really committed to making sure that all the videos I put out are as good as they can possibly be, and not lingering or stretching things out any more than they need to be. Now, I did split up one of my last recording sessions. That was over 33 minutes, but I've been trying to stay away from having super long episodes. Even today, like, I think this total episode was 25 minutes, and that's about as long as I ever want to go. And even then, like, I'm not sure I want to do a lot of 25-minute episodes consistently. Like, 15 to 19 minutes tops is really what I'm trying to stay within, and then every once in a while, if I have to go like a few minutes over that, I will. But if I have any videos that make it up to 30 minutes or more, then I'm just going to split those up into 2 episodes, just so I'm not having super long videos. Because it seems like 15, 19 minutes, those videos end up doing the best on my channel, so I kind of want to stick to that if I can. We're looking pretty good right now. You can see we're starting to divide up our rooms here. And I mean, at this point, it's dealer's choice. Like, you can really, there's no honest wrong way to build out this area of the ship. I'm making this easier on myself. You know, again, I'm using design cues and elements from other rooms on my ship to build out this section. Even though it's not exact, but the ideas are there. The transporter room, the bridge, the mess hall, and the crew quarters. Now, it's going to look different on this area of the ship because obviously we don't have the same room to work with, but it's hopefully going to feel very similar. That is definitely one of the challenges that you're going to run into when you're, and it's not just Enterprise Z, like this is, it's any build in general that you're going to come across a room that you're not sure what to do with, whether that's a completely made up build, or even if you're building something like in this case from Star Trek. And it's even more so with Star Trek because, like, aside from Deep Space Nine, the Defiant, Voyager, and the Enterprise, or the versions of the Enterprise that have showed up on the shows, and Discovery, like, there's not that many ships that have really been fleshed out. that you can see. Like, and again, you can find blueprints for these ships, but it's not. They don't really give you a very detailed viewing of what the ship actually looks like, other than this, just the general layout of it. So there's just there's no real choice but to just borrow from other ships, or try to take some of these ideas and merge them over, um, and convert them for other sections. Or you can also, again, just completely borrow from other things completely different, like not the Enterprise D, but when I did my original Enterprise that I made on Minecraft, I actually designed my crew quarters based, or not the crew quarters, but the general crew quarters. I based that loosely off of how aircraft carriers were set up in submarines. Because with those ships, it's not feasibly possible to have a bedroom for every single crew member on the ship. The only workaround for that is that you're going to have general crew where everybody is going to share a space. You'll have your own bed, but it'll be the same space for everyone. That's kind of the way to do it. It's really not until you get like on a Galaxy class ship where everybody has their own bedroom. And now they don't follow this rule like with Discovery and Strange New Worlds, but you also have to remember that even those shows, like, people say how they want to stay within canon, but they don't think about the fact that, like, Strange New Worlds, for example, they don't even follow canon. The ship, the Enterprise from Strange New Worlds, is almost twice the size of the Enterprise in the original series. They scaled it up. So I mean, again, it's just kind of something to think about when you're working on your builds here. You can break canon. They do it with the shows, they do it with the movies. We can do it with our build and get away with it. But I kind of veered off the reason I brought that up. The point is that originally these ships were not that big outside of a Galaxy class. Before Next Generation ships were moderately smaller, and they had those general crew quarters. Hell, I mean, even on the Enterprise D, as big as it was, there were areas of the ship that had general crew. And somebody might say, like, oh, that's not true. I'm like, it actually is. If you go back and watch Star Trek Generations, at the end of the movie, when the saucer is crashing down on the planet, they switch very quickly to a scene of all these kids in a bedroom, and there's a ton of bunk beds going down. So it's like, okay, like, this isn't like where all these kids sleep. No, this is a general crew area of the ship. So even a Galaxy class, as big as it was, it had general crew on it. And that's not something that we ended up making on my version of the Enterprise D. But again, it's got the room for it. You could easily go back on your crew deck and add in some general crew rooms. Because, again, it doesn't make sense that everybody has their own bedroom. That's something that should be reserved for admirals, diplomats, and then officers, and then maybe families. Anybody that, like, I'd imagine that anybody that's like a lower crewman on the ship and they don't have a family, they're probably going to be in general crew on the Enterprise D. I could be wrong, but I think what we end up doing with the captain's yacht, I think I only end up making one bedroom or two. I think I ultimately ended up on one. If I did, to be honest with you, I probably should have at least built two bedrooms. Like this bedroom that we're making right here. If I'm being perfectly honest, I was very, very generous with the size that I made it. I probably should have scaled it down quite a bit and maybe split this up into 2 or even 3 bedrooms. Because kind of how I have it right now is that it's very, very luxurious. You've got a living room to the left, and then to the right we've got a bedroom, and then the last pod in this area will be a bathroom. And um, the reason that's kind of conflicting with this area of the ship, and I'm going to be my own critic for a moment, is that I made a general mess hall. Um, and I make it big enough to where it looks like you could seat maybe, I think, 6 or 8 people or something like that. So, like, bottom line is that I should have added in a couple more bedrooms on this captain's yacht just to accommodate that, to where if you wanted to, you could potentially take this pod down and bring a couple of people with you, and it wouldn't be a problem. But again, it's really not that big of a deal. I think we can totally get away with even just having the one bedroom. I'm just kind of critiquing myself on what I could have maybe have done differently. Yeah, because this is a lot of space to be taking up just for Picard. Looking pretty good. At this point, we're just the general shape and rooms have kind of been established at this point. So really, we're just kind of adding in our detailing, and then that'll call this section of the ship. We'll call it done, because we really won't have anything else that we'll need to do. So now we're in our bathroom here, so we want to make sure we made our toilet. We've got our sink, and now we're going to make a shower. Yeah, so like if I had to go back and redesign this room, what I would have done, and I'm surprised I didn't think about this while I was making this room, but I mean, stuff happens. Sometimes you don't think about different things until later on, but this is again like why I've been kicking myself that I lost this save file, because I can't go back and make any changes. But no, I would have maybe added in I would have basically this section of the ship that we're in right now, I would have broken it up into at least 2 bedrooms, and this bathroom that I'm making right now, I would have made this a general bathroom. I think that would have been the smarter way to go about designing it. But, again, sometimes you have to throw something down, see how it looks, to see what you need to do. And then maybe even at that point, you need to step away for a little while, come back to it later on with a fresh set of eyes, and then, make a decision on what you want to do. Because, I mean, that's just kind of the way that I build. Like, this is a great example of that. Like, we built out our shower, we built out our captain's bedroom on our captain's yacht, but now we're kind of thinking about things that we could have done with this to make it a little bit better later on, because we're coming back to it with a fresh set of eyes. And that's like, it's so unbelievably helpful when you're building these things, just to take a break from an area of the ship and then come back to it later on to decide what you want to do. Yes, I grabbed the wrong thing. I need the cauldron there so I can put that down so I can have water in it to make it look like a sink. There we go. Now we're in good shape. Yeah, I mean, all things considered, this room's looking pretty good. Yeah, because we've got all this room right here. Like, I mean, I think I ended up just closing this off and maybe having the mess hall be stretched out a little bit more than what I originally had it. There's definitely a few things in this section of the ship I could have done a little bit better, but hopefully by watching this episode, maybe you'll add some of that stuff. Maybe you'll make those changes to add in those extra bedrooms and make the bathroom a general bathroom. I think that might work out better here. But I mean, to each his own. Doesn't look bad by any means. Like I said, I'm just kind of my own worst critic with my builds, and I'll think of things later on to do that I could have done better, or I'll just decide that what I did before just didn't come out very good. But I think that this will work out just fine. But yeah, what we're doing right now specifically, this is the main reason on why just having one bedroom doesn't make any sense for the layout of our mess hall specifically. Because right now we've got 6 chairs so far. I'm counting that right? I don't think I'm going to go over 6, yeah, because we're going to bring out that wall a little bit. We got to fix the ceiling here to get rid of that blue. And yeah, it is kind of bringing the ceiling down just a little bit, but it's not coming down right on our heads. We still have a little bit of a gap, but it's at least cleaning the room up a little bit more. There we go. Now we're getting our dividers in place where every single spot that they should be. What this room is missing now, the general mess, is that we need to make like a replicator type thing, or something that implies a replicator, because we don't have the room to make out a full kitchen or anything like that, so replicator is what we're going to end up on. You say grab the furnace to kind of make it something that would look like a grill maybe, or something like that. And I'm also looking at the rest of my blocks to see if I have anything that might somewhat resemble or be a stand-in for a replicator. But we might just have to settle on using those blocks that look like a computer screen. Yeah, the striped warped hypia, that's what we're just going to probably end up on. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. Kind of implies that it could be a replicator. If you know that this is a mess hall. Yeah, we're going to switch this to a darker color for the window here. This one line right here is messing with me. If we bring that up by one, that might look a little bit better, but then we're going to have to... I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. Because it's making the window incredibly small. And I mean, that could work because when you're sitting down, that window would pretty much be right at eye level. So maybe, I mean, maybe that kind of, that kind of works. It just looks weird because we're standing up right now, but when you're in a seated position, that would definitely work as being a visible, or a window that would be visible. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. There's not really that much else that we're going to be able to change here. I think we have our captain's ready room completed. Hopefully, I didn't let you guys down with this room. I was pretty happy with how it came out. One thing I will say that we probably do need to do that I'm not going to do in the episode is I'm going to rewind just a little bit so you can see what I mean right here. So what we probably do need to do is everywhere where there is a blue block on the floor, we probably need to swap that out for carpeting. Because the way that I have my design established on the ship is that you don't see any lighting from the flooring here. So all these sea lanterns here that I have, they need to be covered up. So that's probably the one thing that I didn't do in this episode that I probably should have. But with that being said, I think we pretty much wrapped this thing up. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. If you haven't, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, helping me and supporting the channel. I can't thank you guys enough for that. And new subscribers, don't forget to hit notifications on so you get notified when my new videos drop. You can always catch those on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you have any questions, be sure to drop a comment below or in Discord. Any ship builds that you want to see me do, go on the Discord and click on Build Suggestions. This way your voice can be heard, you can post your suggestion, and people can upvote it. Also, if there's any builds that you've done that you'd like to share, you can also post those in the Discord as well. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. I just want to thank you all again for tuning in today's episode. I hope everybody has a happy and safe weekend. And of course, what did you build in Minecraft today? Let me know in the comments section. Post your pictures in Discord.